"Sir, that girl stays at the hospital where I work." A single dad cried when he saw the portrait. There are moments in life that stop you cold. Moments so unexpected, so full of raw human emotion, that they remind you what we're all really here for. This is one of those stories. A little girl, a broken-hearted father, and one quiet act of kindness that neither of them will ever forget. What happened inside the walls of a busy hospital in the American Midwest will move you in ways you didn't see coming. Keep watching, because this one goes straight to the heart. Before we get into the story, if you're new here, welcome to Heartfelt Moments, the place where we share real stories about real people doing extraordinary things for one another. If stories like this mean something to you, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment below telling us about a time someone's kindness changed your day. Your words matter here, and we love hearing from you. Now, let's get into it. Her name was Lily. She was 7 years old, with a gap-toothed smile and hair that never seemed to stay in its ponytail no matter how many times the nurses tried to fix it. Lily had been living on the pediatric ward of St. Carver's Regional Hospital for going on 3 months. She had a rare autoimmune condition that the doctors were still carefully working to manage. It was the kind of illness that meant long stretches of boredom broken up by scary procedures and sleepless nights. But Lily, somehow, was sunshine in that place. She'd learned every nurse's name on the floor within her first week. She'd ask them about their kids, their weekends, whether they'd seen any good movies lately. She made the orderlies laugh. She drew pictures and taped them to the wall near her bed. Flowers, rainbows, once a surprisingly accurate sketch of the hospital cafeteria. The staff adored her. Marcus worked in the hospital as a medical records clerk. Not flashy work, not the kind of job that gets a lot of attention, but important. He was quiet by nature, a man who kept mostly to himself, ate his lunch alone in the break room with a book, and went home to his small apartment after every shift. But every now and then, his route through the building took him past the pediatric ward, and that's how he first saw Lily. She was sitting up in her hospital bed, coloring furiously with a box of crayons someone had donated. She looked up when she heard his cart rolling past, and without hesitation, without knowing him at all, she held up her drawing, and said, "Do you want this one? I made a dragon." Marcus stopped. He looked at the drawing. It was, without question, the best crayon dragon he had ever seen. "I'd love it," he said. That was how it started. After that, he made a habit of stopping by when he could. He'd bring her a juice box from the vending machine, or a silly paperback from the gift shop. She'd show him her latest artwork, and he'd listen to her talk about her cat, at home named Biscuit, and how she missed watching cartoons on Saturday mornings with her dad. Her dad. Lily talked about him constantly. His name was Danny, and he was raising her alone. Her mother had passed away 2 years before from a sudden illness. Danny worked double shifts at an auto repair shop to keep the bills paid and still showed up at that hospital every single evening, still in his work clothes, smelling like motor oil, never missing a night. He'd sit beside Lily's bed and hold her hand and read to her until she fell asleep. Marcus had seen Danny a few times in passing, a big man with tired eyes and calloused hands, always nodding politely to the staff, always grateful, always clearly running on empty. It wasn't hard to see that this man was carrying the entire world on his shoulders. One afternoon, Marcus was cleaning out an old storage room and came across an abandoned set of oil painting supplies, brushes, paints, a few blank canvases. Somebody had donated them and they'd just been sitting there for years. Marcus had painted as a hobby in college, had set it aside for years without much thought. But something stirred in him looking at those supplies. He took them home. Over the next 3 weeks, in the evenings after work, Marcus painted a portrait of Lily. He worked from a photo one of the nurses had shared with him, Lily laughing, her crooked ponytail flying, crayons scattered across her tray table. He painted her the way she truly was, full of life, full of light, completely herself. When it was finished, he wrapped it carefully in brown paper and brought it to the hospital on a Tuesday evening, right around the time he knew Danny would be arriving. He caught Danny in the hallway outside Lily's room and quietly explained what he'd done. Danny just stared at him for a moment, like he wasn't sure what to make of it. Then Marcus handed him the package. Danny unwrapped it slowly. When the paper fell away, and he saw his daughter's face looking back at him laughing, alive, radiant on that canvas, his whole body seemed to crumble just a little. His chin dropped to his chest, his shoulders shook. He pressed one hand over his eyes, and he wept. Not out of sadness, but out of something that doesn't always have a name, the feeling of being seen. Of your child being seen and loved, and celebrated by someone who had no reason in the world to do it. except that it felt right. "Sir," Danny finally managed, his voice rough, "I don't even know you." "I know," Marcus said simply, "but I know Lily, and she's worth knowing." Danny hung the portrait above Lily's hospital bed that same evening. She squealed when she saw it. She made Marcus sign the back, like it was a real piece of museum art, and he laughed more genuinely than he had in years. Lily was discharged from St. Carver's 6 weeks later. She took the portrait home, and hung it in her bedroom, right across from the window where the morning light would hit it just right. Danny sent a handwritten card to the hospital, addressed simply to the man with the paintings. The nurses made sure Marcus got it. He kept it in his desk drawer at work for years after. Kindness doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't always wear a cape or make headlines. Sometimes it looks like a man with a set of forgotten paintbrushes and a few quiet evenings, choosing to pour love into something beautiful for a little girl he barely knew and a father he'd never really spoken to. Sometimes it's that small, and sometimes it changes everything. You never know which moment of yours might be the one someone holds on to forever. So be generous with them. Be generous with your time, your attention, your small gestures. The world is full of Lilies and full of Dannys, just hoping someone will stop and notice. Be the person who stops. Thank you for watching Heartfelt Moments. If this story touched you, please share it with someone who needs a reminder of the good in this world. We'll see you in the next one.